I wrote a list for all you teens. So this is 21 of the lessons that I wish I knew when I was a teenager. This is going to greatly improve your success rates at any stage in your life, from preteens to even in your early 20s. These are the lessons that I wish that I knew in my teens and that I can now help you today to overcome a lot of the setbacks and struggles that you're dealing with right now in your life. So the first one's first is learn only topics that you really want to get results from. So this is anything from hobbies. This is anything that you're actually learning in your electives. This is anything that you are going to essentially build on to the next big thing. Like, why are you taking the classes you're taking? And not because that cute boy or cute girl's in the class. You really need to like overlook that. I know how hard it is. Believe me, there's classes that I literally only wanted to take because my boyfriend was in it, or because like that cute guy was in it, or my friend was in it, and I didn't really think of like the bigger picture, which luckily in my case, like a lot of the things that I wanted to go for in those like areas didn't really excite me enough to actually like change topics or anything. So for me, it was really like sticking with what I wanted to learn to grow on, to evolve into eventually college, which that would have definitely been the path. But I decided to take it a whole new direction and become an entrepreneur, which we'll get into in another video. So definitely check out my rest of my videos. But on that subject, you have to take things that are going to actually build your life forward. So what are those things? And start planning now. The sooner you can get those things up and out of the way and you can learn about it, the faster you can pivot if it's not for you, or if you need to learn something more in that industry. You can now have some results in that industry that you can now continually build onto it. Okay, next one, study your field of interest. So just kind of like the same one that we just went over, but now you're going to actually get the books. You're going to like get involved in this subject, to like get around people that are already talking about it, get around people that are excited about this, and it's going to most likely be outside of the friend group you already have, maybe the less cool people that you're trying to avoid. Maybe even if you're a little bit older and you don't really have like a friend group, now get into friend groups that actually talk about this. Get into Facebook groups that talk about your subject of interest. Get around people that are always constantly thinking and talking about it, because that's going to involve your mind in thinking about more of it, also coming up with quicker solutions. So definitely you need to be immersed in books that talk about it, in mentors that talk about it online and offline, to in friend groups, and even in like organizations that always talk about that. And it doesn't have to be forever. It's really just jump starting that next big thing for you. So don't look at it like, I'm going to join this organization and I'm going to be involved with it for the rest of my life. Think of it as a launching point to getting the results that you want to see from that, and then taking that and then compounding it to something bigger as you get older. All right, so the next one is don't get weighed down on relationships. Another big one here. So I was in 2 really serious relationships in my teenage years to even in my early 20s. Both of them would have led to marriage. Thank God both of them didn't. Two totally different situations in that. But one, my first like really serious boyfriend that we were with technically my high school sweetheart, we were together a little over 3.5 years, and we planned to get married and all that stuff, and it just didn't happen. And anyhow, it would be a whole other subject to talk about, but it doesn't matter on that. And then my second one, same thing. I was with for like 2 years. We're gonna get married and stuff like that, and it just didn't happen. But again, we're not here for the story. We're here about the lesson. All right. So the lesson that I have around relationships, especially in the teenage years and early 20 years, is I don't want you to focus on like, this is the person. This is it. This is like the person I'm supposed to be with, because, we get along, we vibe, we may have great sex, Of course, we're protection, especially if, you're definitely not in your 20s and stuff, because you don't want to end up with a whole bunch of other complications in your life. Especially when you're just starting out essentially your life around that age as well, like actually having responsibilities outside your home. So, you really want to make sure that you're not putting a lot of weight on relationships. And this isn't even friendships, relationships, or friend group relationships. You need to really focus on you. You need to be selfish and be like, this is my values. This is what I want to do with my life. This is what I see over the next 10 years. Maybe you want to have kids and your partner doesn't. Maybe you want to have a house and your partner doesn't. Maybe you want to move across the country or move to another country and your partner doesn't. You need to address those quickly in the early in the relationship. Even if you guys are doing great and you guys love each other and you're infatuated and all that other stuff, if you don't have the values now that you're going to work together and build a life, then it's going to be so complicated, and it's going to end up essentially, I don't want to say ruining both of your lives, because you could definitely learn from it, but you'll be both always working on different projects. And as a successful relationship, you need to be working together. Even in my case, I was together with my ex 20 years. And though we ended up getting separated after 20 years being together, we did have a lot of things that we were working toward together over those 20 years that essentially built both our lives for the better and for it, than if we were together and never worked on projects together. We would essentially be starting from zero all again by ourselves. But we had a period of time in our relationship that we worked really well together. We built amazing business partnerships together, and we both grew as people during that time as well. So again, you have to be in relationships for more than just the relationships, for the actual value that they are going to bring, the value that you can bring to them, that you can work together and build something bigger. All right. So number 4, be your own cheerleader. This is super important. You have to be your own cheerleader, especially because you can't rely on other people to be your cheerleader for you. You have to be responsible when you are in your preteens, teens, as well as an early adult. You have to be responsible for yourself, and in doing so, you need to be your own cheerleader, even in those tough times. You need to be the one that picks yourself up and just do it. As Nike says, you really just have to do it, and that way you also feel better about your choices when you start to see those positive results, because then you can say, I did this, I supported myself, and I did this. And it's the best feeling that I can say has ever happened to me, is just believing in myself long enough that I actually had some results, and I was like, oh my god, I actually did this. And not saying that you have to do it all yourself. Find supporters that are going to uplift you and give you encouragement to do that. And again, you can find those within your friend groups. You can join organizations. You can get a coach. So there's a lot of things that can encourage you. But again, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to go to bed by yourself in most cases, and wake up and do your routine yourself. Nobody's going to pick you up and get you dressed or brush your teeth for you. So you have to be your own cheerleader day in and day out. And that is how you're going to just live your life from this day forward. You're going to feel great about your decisions. And when you start to see results, you're also going to believe in yourself more, which is going to serve you your whole life. All right. So the next one is get out